Hello everyone, Warangel here, and welcome back to Grimgor'z campaign for Mortal Empires. Now let me just apologise if you hear anything in the background, as it is sweltering here in the UK today, and I've got the windows open, or you've got a fan going over in the hallway to circulate some air, so if you're hearing any background noise which makes it through editing, I do apologise. But, last episode, we started our war against the Knights of Caledor. We've already taken Mount Greyhag and the Ash Ridge. I keep saying Ash. I want to make sure I say Ash, not Ass. Ash Ridge Mountains. We've defeated Imric, and we're in a position now to march on Darkhold before we head down into the fortress of Wurrzag. Now, I've already done this turn. I'm just making sure we've got things set up ready before we hit the end turn phase, because we have got an ambush set up, hopefully to be able to deal with these guys in the next turn, or even catch them in an ambush. Now, let's just hit end turn. It was only a 40% chance, so if we're unlucky... Well, it hasn't actually popped up and said that we... Hang on, what the hell? Where did they get these troops from? What? I mean, you guys saw as well, right? They didn't have that many options, and all of a sudden they spawned about 6 units? 5-6 units? And they have Dragon Princes come out of nowhere too. Right. In any case, we are able to launch this ambush, and the balance bar is in my favour. I'm just going to auto-resolve this. What I would like to try and do today, as a battle, is the siege battle at the Fortress of Wurrzag. Now, of course, we need to make sure we get there first, but considering we're in our own territory right now, and we do have replenishment quite high, we've got the 10% bonus for our faction as well as for the Healy Mushrooms, I think we should be in a pretty good position to march on Darkhold in the following turn. But let's just get through the end turn phase and wait and see. Right then, let's get started. So first things first... All good. No complaining has been finished. Fantastic. Oh, Grimgor'z picked a builder. Okay. We'll skip through... Okay, that's it all. Now, in the last turn, I did finish off the phase we were at with Gitsnik's quest chain by sending Little Boss up into the Eastern Border Princes. So our next objective, if we pop onto here, is to destroy or sack 3 settlements. Now, I'm not going to do that right away, because I would like to secure this, ideally for myself, but we may be going after some Skaven or something like that, or if we're going to fight the dwarves of Karazakarak, then I don't see any reason why we can't burn down some of their settlements, just enough to actually get that mission complete. But for now, let's get Grimgor over towards Darkhold. There's a tiny army here. I think we should be okay. Oh yeah, definitely. It is a little startling though that for a, minor settlement, that they have dragon princes and dragons as part of the garrison. That is worrying. But we'll want to resolve this one as well. Nice and easy. And occupy. Ooh, Strider. An 18% speed. That is madness. Might have to get out to the chariot or something. Let's skip all of that. Let's give him... Oh good, he has got the banner of swiftness already. We'll come back and do his points, because there's something I did want to do, based on the advice given to me in the comments of the last video, and that is to do the resource buildings. Now, I have been avoiding trying to do the resources for things like the iron resource here at the Burny Aardvark, because for the orcs they're quite expensive. Instead of doing them as a tiered building, you have just the one tier, and it costs about 4,000 teeth for each one. But if we get a Black Orc forge right now and get it built, that's going to reduce our upkeep for Black Orcs and Big Uns and things like that. And that's not the only place we can build one. If we go to the Black Iron Mine over here, we can actually get a iron resource here as well, but we need it upgraded to a tier 3, which is what I've already started to do. So give it a bit of time, and we should be done with that. Now what I can do though, because Gorfang's Lair is also a tier 3 settlement, is we can build the Goblin sawmills even. This will give us a little bit of a reduction in our upkeep when it comes to mainly our arrow boys and our board chariots. But when we start recruiting other armies with goblins and that in, they've got spears. They should come in handy for that too. But we're going to try and save a bit of money, because how many turns? We've got one more turn until we can upgrade Black Crag to a tier 4 settlement, which will be fantastic. So yeah, let's save the money for the moment. And I'll just make sure we upgrade Grimgor'z and everybody else. Oh wow, we can actually give you best of the best. Passive ability, only active if enemy lords or heroes are nearby, and increases melee defense by 10 and 11% damage resistance. Take it. And then cause terror, extra leadership for my big uns, extra damage for the immortals, or extra 15% hit points. That is a tough choice, it really is. I mean, going for the army buffs will be pretty good, but I just like the idea of him causing terror to our enemies. We're going to take imposing presence, for definite. What else we need to do? The other Trugits. Now that we made him harder to hit, I'm going to make sure we increase his combat ability a bit as well. Get back here. Plus 16 leadership for troops nearby. That will come in handy. Let's get some points though in thick-skinned as well. Like I said, I want this guy to be a tank. I want him to survive anything thrown at him. So we'll grab that. Let me see. Fist of Gork. Extra melee attack and defense. The only shame is that it's not an area of effect spell. It only does one unit at a time. Headbutts. Oh, that's a tier attack. That could be handy. Here we go, 40 melee attack to everybody in range. That is fantastic. And Fist of Gork, even. Oh, so many options. I'm going to go for Here we go, just because that will give us a massive bonus to our attack. Cast that as we get into combat, and everybody's just going to slaughter our enemies. Okay, little boss. To be honest, what am I going to do with you now? I'll probably... We'll get you to head back, I think. To... Yeah, let's actually get you heading down. Because I would like to know if there's anyone nearby in this province. Might as well be able to try and take the opportunity to, you know, get more territory. So we'll get him marching down. It's going to take a few turns. But let's do that. What we're going to go for next. A little bit of extra cash with pulling teeth. Make sure everyone's paying dues, boss. Send our boys out for a spot of teeth collecting. Alright, now, this is going to change when they do the next update. So, I would like to join in the beta, but I've been having problems with it. As you guys saw from... I think I talked about it in the last episode, didn't I? Now, which ones to go for? Cheaper recruitment. Upgrade our ball boys and board chariots? Sounds like a plan, sure. How are we doing for scrap anyway? 89. Let's continue upgrading a few more of our troops. I'm thinking we'll stick to reinforced weapons, just because that has turned out to be quite handy. Although I suppose we could try and make them a little different. Yeah, let's give you guys extra armor. Just to make them a bit different, you know? So now these guys got 75 armor, and all of these have got 66 weapon strength. Very cool. Same as the Immortals. Wow. Okay. What else we got left to do? Could upgrade Spike Peak. Not going to. We're saving the money. Let's hit end turn. Alright then, guys. So we're ahead a couple of turns now. Just long enough for us to finish replenishing and get Grimgor'z in position to march on the fortress. Now, when I last looked at this, when I first moved Grimgor'z here, they only had an army with 2 units there, led by Sakona here. But it looks like they've been busy recruiting. We've got, well, another Archmage here. And they've recruited a couple of extra units. Now what this does give me an opportunity to do though, with Deloria outside the base, is to actually attack them outside the walls. Bring the garrison in, bring that small army in, and trust in our boys to finish the job. I think that might be a bit better for us, rather than just sit around trying to, you know, build up siege equipment. So let's go and attack at Deloria, and fight them all in one go. Oh Christ, really? I'm not gonna lie, I was actually hoping it was going to be a bit harder than this. Do we need to fight this, though? With a balance bar like that, I really don't think so. And you guys know, I try to avoid fighting battles if they're too easy. But at the same time, there is a few units involved. There's just nothing like Waaagh. We can defeat these guys easily enough. All their melee troops, in fact, we can defeat easily enough. The Sun Dragon will be an easy target for our Doom Diver and Grimgor'z. And then we can just send in our Boar Boys in there to take out the missile troops. Right, what I will do, I'm going to give the Boar Boy Strider, the Boar Chariot, because Strider gives a whole bunch of bonuses, and I'm wondering if that will help us out when it comes to trying to go through the trees. Was that not a thing with the base game? It's not. Why? In, what was it? Was it Steel Faith Overhaul? Or Close to the Tabletop? I think it is Close to the Tabletop. Because, yeah, that's the one I mainly use, isn't it? Duh. But chariots in Close to the Tabletop have a mechanic that if you send them through woodlands, they take damage to represent the fact that they are, chariots. Trying to send them through a forest is going to lead to problems. But anyway, this is their last settlement, though. We're going to fight it. Why not? So everyone, welcome to the battlefield outside the fortress of Wurrzag. Now, in this battle, the majority of the enemy forces have come on as reinforcements on our right flank, which is fine by me. What I end up doing is deploying our infantry line across here with our faster units, such as the Boar Boys and Boar Chariots, over on our left flank. Now, the Boar Boys are going to get into position back over here, so they can charge into the rear of the enemy's line, going after those nice, squishy archers. Whereas my Boar Chariots, I decided to send them off after the Archmage here, thinking that they should be able to kill her off fairly quickly. Found out it doesn't quite work as easily as that. Chariots, it seems, aren't as effective against individual characters as they are against units, but it's a lesson I've learned for the future. Now, we've got in a position now where our first unit of Biggins are about to charge in against some Spearmen and over here. Fortunately, the Dragon is going to start blasting down already, but this is the unit that we upgraded with better armor. It's going to manage quite reasonably well, in fact, against that Dragon Blast. He only managed to get one Orc out of that. But the Dragon has landed, and as the rest of our line starts charging into their melee troops, Grimgor'z is going to have a go against the Dragon. Now, that Dragon is no challenge for Grimgor'z. Right, we can watch as he just dives in, he does one hit already, and you can see just how much health disappeared in that one blow. And as he's continuing to lay into him, the leadership of the Dragon's going lower and lower, and is going to retreat any second now. Over here then in the main centre, we've got White Lions of Krace, with the other Trukids and the Immortals fighting alongside the Biggins. And again, this is not going to be much of a threat to our bow line. We're doing some damage to them. They are using abilities, it seems, like Aspect of the Dread Knight against us, but it's not going to do much, all in all. While that's happening though, you can see behind the enemy lines that the Boar Boys have started to attack these squishy archers. It's going to take a little while. The archers actually hang on a long time compared to their melee units, which you can see already. White Lions are starting to break. We had a Brain Burster from Skulk attack these Spearmen. But I have to show off this a bit. Between Grimgor'z Waaagh and the Eerie Go area effect, you can see this big gun unit has a melee attack of 116. Right? For the few seconds that lasts, that is a massive bonus. And now already you can see the front of the battle line is retreating. Over here on our right flank, this last unit is about to retreat. This one hangs on a little bit longer. But on our left flank, they have been destroyed as well. We do have some big guns over here fighting some spearmen. Again, a pretty easy fight for us. And this is what I mean. The Boar Chariots have been going after this Archmage the entire time, and hasn't managed to do enough damage that I would have been happy about it. But one of those things. Now at this point though, the only thing left is the Archer unit and a unit of Spearmen. But it's not going to be too long until we experience a chain rout. In fact, it's happening right now. And with that, as you can see up here at the balance bar, we won the battle. Now I decided to take the opportunity rather than just retreat back, or end the battle straight away to chase down the survivors, because we are fighting them outside the fortress. So the more we can kill now, the less we have to deal with in the next battle, which I did auto-resolve, to be honest with you guys. But unfortunately, the ball boys aren't as fast as what I was used to. They are a little bit tired from the fight already. They are winded. But still, I was expecting them to be a bit faster, and some of these units do end up retreating off the map before we catch up to them. But we kill enough that I'm pretty happy with the end result. If we hover over, you can see we only took about, 89 casualties, compared to wiping out the entire enemy force, which we did get outnumbered by. So all in all, a rather satisfactory victory, and a decisive one at that. Now we just need to head back to the campaign map and finish off the faction once and for all. I'll see you in just a second. Well, a decisive victory, although I'm a little disappointed that Grimgor'z didn't exactly get many kills in at all. But he managed to see our first Sun Dragon, which was pretty good going. But we'll take the decisive victory. We will. Guys, really not much options considering how many we managed to kill. I suppose we'll just slaughter them. But even though we weren't able to chase them all down... Oh cool, Lords of Azir. Anything else? A Shrieking Blade. Could give that to the other Trugits. He hasn't got a magical weapon yet, has he? At least I don't remember giving him one. Oh, but yeah, we did actually give him the Ogre Blade. But what would I rather have? 18% weapon strength, or the ability to cause fear? Decisions. I mean, for the moment I'm going to keep the Ogre Blade. It might be better to actually give it to the Orc Shaman we've got, Skulk, just because then it allows him to have a bit of an advantage over enemies trying to attack him. But I'm quite happy to deal with that otherwise. Anyway, but now that we've fought that battle, we should be able to just attack the Fortress of Waaagh quite easily. Yeah. I mean, I could build siege equipment and that, but it's going to be an easy fight to win anyway, so just going to do that. Took a few losses, that's fine by me. And we're going to go ahead and occupy. There we go, we managed to unlock Mogrub's Mangy Morders. What a mouthful that is. But we're not going to worry too much. Durkit Squigs. Okay. Loogie Boogie Spore Sploders. What the hell? These uniquely chaotic, snotling-powered war machines are armed with ruinous spores, splattering the enemies as they career haphazardly into the battle lines. Sounds interesting. Cool. Alright, but most importantly, the Knights of Kalador have been defeated. Alright, we'll skip through any more? Is that it? Okay. Now, where do we want to go to next with Grimgor'z army? Like I said, we do have a Nagashasar and the Desolation of Nagash just to the west here. But we've also got territory over here that's been added in with a previous update. Nobler Country. We've got Flayed Rock, the Haunted Forest, Shattered Grove, and Pigbarter. And if I remember right, is it Shattered Cove or the Haunted Forest was the headquarters for Clan Eshin? I mean, that could give us a few opportunities. And then, of course, we can also cross to Dragon Isles and fight Hag Grief, led by Malik Darkblade. Sorry, Maris Darkblade. Malik is someone else, isn't it? Anyway, we've got a few options at least. But let's have a look at the fortress itself. We've got a Borbor and boss tent already. Let's have a look. What's this? Tower of the Bloody Tooth. These bleak, distant ruins contain plentiful, if somewhat tainted treasures and building materials. Just try to ignore the gnawed upon bones. I think we'll manage just fine with that. I mean, the cheaper buildings will come in handy, and so would the income, but the vampiric corruption is a bit of a nuisance. But given in mind that the boss's tent gives a +1 untainted bonus anyway, I think it should balance out quite nicely if we decided to go for that. For the moment, let's give you some better defenses. And did you guys ever have any resources here? No. I mean, the other option we could go is go to the north, go after Crookback Mountain and Mount Silverspear, so we can secure the whole province since we've already got Mount Greyhag. To be honest, I feel a little bit more tempted for doing that, and then I'll let you guys decide what we do next. Yeah, I think that would be a much better option. Let's let Grimgor and his army rest up. Gorfang has made his way to the Burning Aardvark just to keep things under control here. We're one turn away from both resource buildings being finished. And then, what do we want to do here? We do have 4,000 gold. We could upgrade and buy a few stuff. Could get you a few more units, can't we?
Send me to battle.
That's what we can get. Get some big guns for you. Get some night goblins. I'll tell you what, let's get rid of... Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4... 9 units. Let's get rid of the orc boys from here. Let's grab a few night goblin archers. We've already got some hard-hitting trolls. Let's grab you some nasty skulkers. I'm just thinking that if he's going to be fighting potentially some dwarves, because he will be the first army out of him and Grimgor, that having some nasty skulkers with their armor-piercing damage will be useful, especially if we can attack the dwarves from behind. But we could do that, and it does look like the Bloody Hands are starting to push the dwarves back a bit. It might be in our best interest to try and find Wurrzag's army so we can give him a good thrashing in combat. That way then we'll be able to just take the entire territory and then from him in one fell swoop. And gain him as well. Right. Updates. Gorfang, let's continue giving you... In fact, let's go... The same thing we did with Grimgor. We'll grab Luton and push up then towards Lightning Strike. Might come in handy, you never know. As for Spite, let's give you... I just want to go for the Curse of the Moon, to be honest. I don't tend to overcast spells too much, which is a thing I may have to start trying to give it a go. There's a mod that is in the mod collection, which you can check out. It's called something like Major Miscasts or something like that, but it's supposed to give some really sort of cool effects for when you have a miscast. Not just take a bit of damage, but it can cause area debuffs or even buffs. I think it just has some cool graphics as well, so that could be something to check out. But let's give you Heroic Killing Blow for the extra damage. And we're going to give you thick-skinned, I think. Give you some extra armor. Right, Skulk. Let's give you Magical Reserves now and Earthen. And then we'll come back to Grimgor in just a moment. Of course, Plane of Bones, we're going to go for Obedience. And as for Grimgor himself... Let's give a bit of a boost to our big guns. And then after that then, I suppose we could go for this. Hang on, is that just for himself? Oh, it is. Okay. I might be tempted though to try and focus on this part of the tech tree instead. Skill tree, I mean. So get Foe Seeker, hard to hit. Because while his melee attack is massive, his melee attack defense of me is about half of that. Okay. So it looks like we've got the quest chain for Bloodforged Armor starting, with our first objective being use a hero to perform an action against a dwarven settlement. Okay. A goblin scout had brought word that an unusual number of gyrocopters had been seen travelling back and forth between various dwarf holds and the northern World Edge Mountains. Something is clearly brewing. Anything that might bring the stunties out from behind the doors of their mountain fastnesses has got to be good news. I agree, completely. Grimgor decides to take the uncharacteristically subtle move of cuffing his agent around the head and sending the goblin seeking back out to discover more information. Sure, we've got that to do next. Now, let's get Grimgor moving. Now, I'm going to leave it up to you guys, whether or not we go after the rest of the regions up here or if we move into nobler country. I'm going to take the opportunity to try and colonize the desolation of Nagash and Nagashazar. So, how long is it going to take us to actually get there, is the question. Yeah, it's going to be much quicker than if I just use the underway, isn't it? So we'll get him right to the edge of the mountains, use the underway and then to teleport over to the other side, and then we'll colonize from there then. That should work out quite nicely. Now you're there. See, Gorfang to be honest, I might swap out a few of your units. Let's get rid of one unit of nasty skulkers.
My land.
And instead, let's get rid of one of you guys as well.
Start the war.
Let's grab 2 units of big guns. And I'm thinking, should we try and get a hero for you as well? Let's see, do we have... Oh, we can't recruit any more big bosses. We can recruit some more black organs. +5 melee attack. Torturer. Okay, that's good. So is Torturer. What am I saying? Torturer. Well, that could be handy. But the obedience will be... Oh no, hang on. That's -5 to the local enemy province. Interesting. Or we can go for a shaman. I wouldn't mind trying out a giant river troll hag though. Especially since we do have trolls in the army already. The only problem is if we wanted to try and recruit them, we're going to have to upgrade this, isn't it? And it's going to cost us 5,000 gold. Might need to save up a little bit for that first. But where is Little Boss?
Send me to battle.
Oh, he's only just down here. Okay. Let's send you up to the Varenka. Oh, you don't have walls here, of course. We'll have to send you up into Karak and damage the walls. Take him 2 turns. See a little bit of blue just outside there. Okay. Alright, I'll come back to you guys in a bit when I have actually colonized Nagashazar, and probably the desolation of Nagash as well. So unless something happens, see you in a bit. Right then guys, we're a few turns ahead now, and unfortunately we had some bad luck. It looks like we're being attacked by a massive plague from the Skaven, I presume. Looks like both Caragazal, Black Crag, and the Burning Aardvark have all been affected by a plague out of nowhere. No agent actions or one spike peak too. So at the moment we're actually running into negative money, so my plans to continue colonizing the area have fallen through, to say the least. Nagashazar though has been colonized and had the first tier settlement built up, so it's a start at least. But we are starting to move Grimgor'z and his army back towards Darkhold, and I'm going to ask you guys, where should we go to next? Do we go into Nobler country and deal with Clan Eshin as well as the Red Cloud faction over here? Or do we go into the north in order to go after Mount Silverspear and the Crookback Mountain? I'll leave it up to you guys. But all I can say for the moment though is thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed and that you do join me next time of course for some more Warhammer. But until then everybody, take care and goodbye for now.